Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to give some of the participants a couple of minutes, a few minutes there to get into the presentation. Okay, so you're all very welcome to this presentation. Marianne is my name. I am the Director of Student Services at Maynooth University, and I'd like to welcome you on behalf of our team here to the Open Day today. I'm going to introduce you to my colleagues who are with us, Deirdre, Maria, Shawnee and Katja, and they're going to take you through some of the accommodation options available here in Maynooth. We're going to have a couple of polls throughout the presentation, and if you're able to answer those, we'd be really delighted to have your feedback and input. We will have time at the end for a Q&A session, and if at any stage you have some questions, just pop them into the Q&A on the bottom of your screen and we will answer them as we move through. We just want to assure you, I suppose, in terms of accommodation, there's always plenty of great accommodation options available in Maynooth. Maynooth University is one of the few universities, the only university town in Ireland, so you will find that there's plenty of great accommodation options, and we're sure that you'll find something that will suit your needs. I'm going to begin by giving you a quick overview of student services, and then I'm going to hand you over to my colleagues. So I'm just going to share my screen. So here you will see the Student Services building in Maynooth University. It's located in the North Campus, and we have a wide range of services available to support you throughout your time at Maynooth University. And it's really a place to come if you're even unsure of where to go. Student Services, the team, they're always happy to help. So this is just a quick overview of what we provide. We have a student budgeting advice service, which is available today at Open Day for questions online. So you'll be able to, if you've questions around preparing your budget for university, SUSI options, different things like that, there's lots of information available through our two budgeting advisors. We have a counselling service. It's free, confidential. We have an excellent health centre who'd work very closely with counselling as well. That's also free, and we have a doctor and a team of nurses there to support you. We have a dedicated chaplain who's there and would be running different events and workshops along with counselling and health. They run information workshops. We have a student support officer who's there for personal support, help and guidance. We have a creche for anyone who might have childcare needs. We have a student support hub, which Shawnee is a member of the team there, and Shawnee's going to talk to you today about our Homefinder service. That's the off-campus accommodation service. And we have a student help desk. So there's a team there that will answer any questions that you might have, you know, in relation to university or where to go to find out the right information. So there's a lot of information on our website, and I would direct you just to have a look at maynoothuniversity.ie/student services if you want to find out any more information about any of those particular services. So that's a very quick overview. I'm going to hand you over now to my colleague Maria, and Maria works in residence on campus, and she is going to take you through the options there.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Marianne. Good morning, everyone. You're very welcome to the presentation this morning. I am going to quickly run through the on-campus accommodation options. So Maynooth University on-campus residence for 21-22. Just bear with me here. The first and most important question we get asked every day is when and how can I book an on-campus room? Now that CEO have set their offer dates and the leaving cert dates are set, we have confirmed a booking date for the 8th of September at 10 AM. So this is for any incoming CAO students. Again, it's the 8th of September at 10 AM. It is a first come, first served booking, meaning the booking should be over and done in about an hour, and all rooms will be fully booked. So it is a very competitive booking process, unfortunately. What do I need when I'm booking? So it's really important that you have a computer, a PC or laptop. Please don't do it on a phone or a tablet because you won't be able to see the link to book on our website, unfortunately. Reliable internet connection is a must, as it is a first come, first served. Your internet connection being super strong and being able to get in there is really important. And you will need a card with a facility to pay €500 booking fee and access to the phone associated with the card because of the new SCA guidelines for making payments online. If you don't get a room, there will be a second offering, in mid-September. But you should look at getting alternative accommodation because that first booking on the 8th of September will be the main booking, and the check-in date for accommodation will start from the 12th of September. So it is a very quick turnaround for us, okay? Is there any other schemes available than just the general first come, first served? So these are all on our website. So I would advise, if something is of interest to you, to go and have a really detailed look on our website and check if it's a good fit for you. The first one is Ishgame Coniha. This is a designated block of 30 rooms in our on-campus Guidor accommodation, where the residents use Irish language as their first language whilst living in the accommodation. And this is run by the Oifiad na Gaeilge here in the university. There is an expression of interest online at the moment, and interviews for this will take place in late August, early September. The exact date we'll have to set yet. Places in Ishgame Coniha will be offered to successful candidates following the interview, and to retain the room offer, rooms will be booked and paid for in full. I would advise students to still go ahead and do the first come, first served if they haven't had confirmation on any of these schemes. The second one is the Access Office, and again, all of the information for that are online, including the application form, and this is assessed by the Access Office and a recommendation is made to us. And in our sports department, each year they have a defined number of rooms available on campus for sports scholars. So again, if it's something that you feel would be applicable to you, please contact the sports office and get some more information about that, because it is a good option if you are a sports scholar. How much will living on campus cost? I want to very briefly touch on the fact that we are very much aware of the new legislation that Simon Harris is trying to bring in. We don't have confirmation on that yet, so we've left things as they are, because at the moment this is the way it runs. If and when that legislation comes to us, the payment schedule could change and the amounts payable and how we pay could change, but that will depend on the legislation. So I just want to touch on that because it's very much prominent in the news at the moment. So I don't want to just fluff over it like it doesn't exist. It very much does exist. Whatever the recommendations are, we will be doing. But at the moment, this is how it stands. Okay, so at the moment, we take two payments, one in September, on or before the 10th, which again is a very quick turnaround from the booking, but it's just to be very mindful of that when you are planning your budgets. The accommodation is 6,370 for the single ensuite, including all utilities, and the single share bathroom is 4,900, again, including all utilities, and those prices are set. So as I said, it could be payment over two, or if the legislation is brought in, it'll be a monthly payment option. But again, we will put that on the website once we have confirmation on that. It's really important to note that prices are the same for all residents. And for support with your budget, if you aren't sure if it works for you, you could speak to the Student Services Budgeting Advisor. And all incoming rooms for first year students will be in River and Village. So they're all very much put together in the one area. All right. So the big thing that we would like to kind of flag with you guys before you decide that campus is where you want to be or attempt to book campus is when you book on campus accommodation, you're very much booking to live in a community. Okay. As I said, all of the rooms are together, and you're very much responsible for how you treat and respect the people around you. So you are very much saying, I'm going to live in a community when you book on campus accommodation. One of the big things we hear back from previous residents is that they've met friends for life. So if you're moving to on-campus accommodation, sometimes there's kind of an overemphasis on living with a friend or sharing with someone. We would say park that, because the booking process is so competitive, concentrate on getting a room for you. You will always be really close to everybody else because it's all very much on the north quarter of the campus accommodation on the north campus, and you're all right beside each other. So if you need to meet someone, you're never any more than 5 minutes away from them. All right. And it's a great opportunity to get to meet new people, different diverse types of people from different backgrounds, and really just make new friends and integrate yourself into a new type of life that is living in university and in campus accommodation. As I said, it's a very diverse community. So you'll have people from different countries, different backgrounds, a huge variety of people, and that's what's so different from school. And it's really important to kind of be open-minded to that and be ready to engage in that and really open yourself up to what can be a huge opportunity to meet new people. A big one for us, and I can't see anyone, so maybe it's better, but a big one for us is that this is going to be for most of you CEO students the first time living away from home. So you need to decide, is campus for you? There'll be nobody to wake you for lectures, nobody to ask you, did you wash your socks, nobody to check if you cleaned your dishes. That is going to be very much up to yourself. And within that, you're also going to be living with 4 other first year students. So you are going to have to know, can I communicate? Can I say, not happy with what you're doing there? And be very confident in who you are and kind of putting what you need first. Because it brings us back to people being diverse. My standard of clean or my standard of quiet isn't the same as your standard of clean or your standard of quiet. So it's about being able to respect that. So that brings us on to being a good neighbour. We would always recommend that first year students or any students sit down when you move in with 4 strangers and say, what are the precedents we want set here? So what is acceptable and what is not? And that way it leads to less arguments as the year goes on. Who's taking out the trash? Are we doing a rota? If we're doing it, will we actually follow it? You know, it's really about setting up, I don't really like a lot of noise. Well, I don't like X. It's about finding a place to live within the same parameters. So you each have your own private bedroom, but you will share the shared living space with 4 others. And it's about being respectful of that space. Okay, so be really mindful of all of that. Everyone thinks campus is the be all and end all. It may not be. You need to really consider, is this for me? If you're not getting on with a flatmate, have you the capability to say, well, I'm not happy with what you're doing? Because you need to be able to do that when you're living in this diverse of a community. Okay, but it is still a brilliant place to live. But just to be mindful of all of the things that come with it. Okay. So another one we get asked, so because it is such competitive booking and it's a first come, first served, how do I complete the booking form? There is a sample application form on the website, and that goes through the booking form page by page by page. If you could print that in advance and have it filled out yourselves so that you're ready just to lash it in as quickly as you can. Have your CEO number ready, have your PPS number ready. Again, I'm going to say it again, only use a laptop or desktop. The tablet or phone, you won't find the link and you'll never get into the application form. Research your room types and costs in advance and make sure that those are suitable to your budget and the student's needs. Ensure you have your booking fee of €500 for payment at the time of booking, and your room, this is used to secure your room at the time of booking. You will need access to the phone associated with the card, because the new online payment requirements, you need to verify with the PIN that comes onto your phone. Once you have successfully completed a booking and payment is made, you will get a confirmation email to the email address used. The other thing that has come up for us is, it happens as a lot with CEO students. When you're booking, please put in the student's details. So the student's telephone number, the student's email address. We don't want mommy or daddies, and particularly this year, because we're moving towards maybe keys on mobile phones and stuff like that. We need the student's information, not the parents or the guardians or anyone else's information. We need it to be the student's information, please. And then I'm just going to draw you to, so I suppose with the open day being virtual, we're very aware of that. And students are always wondering, well, what will it look like and where will I live? The nice thing about our accommodation is it's purpose-built student accommodation. So whether you're in Avoca in River or you're in Hurley in River, which are separate to each other, the rooms are same square footage, same layout, same paint color. They literally look the exact same. So the online virtual tour, which gives you a sample of each complex, is a really good way to get a sense of what's the layout like, what do the wall colors look like, what's in the rooms, okay? And as I said, River and Village are where the first year students are going to be. Have a really good look at that. You can also see our reception, the laundry room, the post room, all of the amenities that you'll be using while you're living on campus. So have a good look at that in your own time when you get a chance, okay? So I just want to thank you for your time and for listening to me speaking on. If you have any questions, happy to take them here today, or we're happy to take any emails through residents.office@mu.ie, or the Ask chat is monitored every day on our website. So please feel free to ask on any of those days. Thank you very much. And I'm going to hand you over to my colleague, Shawnee Comerford, and she's going to speak to you about your off-campus options.
So good morning, everybody. My name is Shawnee Comerford and I'm from the Homefinder service here on campus. And I'm going to talk you through today some options for yourselves to find accommodation off campus. So Maria just mentioned there, it's a super opportunity to live on campus, and it surely is. Just to let you know at the offset that Maynooth, the town of Maynooth is very, very small. So even if you're not living on campus, you'll only ever be about the longest, about 20 minutes walk from the campus. So just to let you know that from the offset. Now, the Homefinder service, we're based in the Student Support Hub, like Marianne said. We're based on the North Campus, and we provide a number of different services, information and resources on off-campus accommodation. We provide information sessions to yourselves, and we have a lot of liaison with local landlords in the neighbourhood, and we manage the Maynooth Student Pad database, which is our online platform for finding off-campus accommodation. So really considering coming to Maynooth in September, and if you're thinking of not living on campus, then for off-campus accommodation in the community, there's essentially two options open to you. The first one is to share with an owner, and you might typically hear that being called a digs accommodation, i.e. you'll be living with the owner of the home. The other option for yourselves is to rent a house or apartment on your own or with others. So it is important to note that most private sector accommodation for Maynooth students is in owner occupied or family homes. That is the dig style accommodation here in Maynooth. And we do find that it's very, very popular, particularly with first years, because it provides a home from home, I suppose, a very secure atmosphere. A lot of our digs accommodation, the owner occupiers also provide food options and the option to stay for 3 to 5 nights or 7 nights per week. So all the details of those kind of offerings and for those ads will be listed on the Student Pad platform. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. I suppose it's important to say as well that our landlords have been encouraged to be very flexible, particularly with the coronavirus that we've had over the last while. And so whereas typically they were offering 5 to 7 nights a week, we're seeing now that landlords are also open to providing accommodation for 3 nights a week. And indeed, some will even have the option to stay for 1 or 2 nights a week on a per night basis. More about that later. So alternatively to living in an owner-occupied home, you can also, as we said, rent a house or apartment on your own or with others. But just quite frankly to say to you that there's less of that type of accommodation available. You can find it, but it is less common in Maynooth. So looking first of all that if you do find accommodation and you're renting a house or apartment or your own with others, just some brief tips on that. You need to ensure that you have a lease and review it very carefully before signing. You will be covered by the Residential Tenancies Act of 2015, so it is a legally binding document, that lease, and there are rights and responsibilities of both the tenant and landlord, and any issues that you might have or that might arise can be sorted out through the Residential Tenancies Board, or indeed you can come to the Homefinder service. We're glad to say that we don't normally have issues, that those landlords that are renting out apartments or houses in the town have been doing so for years. They know that it's all based on word of mouth and on reputation as well. So we have very minimal issues that go on throughout the year. Now, if you're renting in an owner-occupied or family home, i.e. the digs, remember that's a unique relationship. You're going into a home with somebody. It's not always a family home. I just want to say that as well. Sometimes you might be sharing just with one other, maybe single person or a couple, or it could be a family with a full-on children and dogs or whatever. So it's very much a unique relationship. It's unregulated. So we recommend to draft a written agreement with, have a conversation first of all, maybe with that person, and maybe we would recommend, and we have recommended this to the digs owner, the digs landlords as well, to suggest a written agreement between yourselves. That's officially called a license to reside, but there's no legally binding element to that written agreement. But really it just outlines what the rules of engagement are in the house. Things like, is there a curfew? Typically there's not, by the way. Is there timings where, you can come and go? Is there timings that you can come and go in and out of the kitchen? Can you have visitors? Can you smoke? Those type of kind of house rules. It's really important to discuss those up front with your potential homeowner before you move in, and that will avoid any kind of I suppose, ill feeling or anything later on in the year. So be clear on your expectations from the beginning, and communication is therefore really key. Now, there's a great resource that we have, and it's called minutestudentpad.ie. It's a self-service platform. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It has live contents. It has photos, descriptions, maps. You can filter your search based on your preferences and location and your budget. It's exclusive to Maynooth University students only. And this is an important piece of information. You will receive an automatic invitation to access Maynooth studentpad.ie in September on receipt of your CAO offer to the university. So that will be on September the 8th, similar to when the offerings open for the residents. September the 8th is when you'll receive an automatic invitation to access minutestudentpad.ie. Okay, we would say to view the property in advance, and if you can't come up to Maynooth to view it, to make arrangements to take a look at the room or property via WhatsApp or other platform like WhatsApp. Budget-wise, it really does vary, first of all, on whether you're choosing to go into an owner-occupied family home or whether you're going into a house, an independent house or apartment. But just to give you some ballpark, I suppose, average prices, and these are based on live prices that are up at the moment for continuing students. So for partial or full board in an owner-occupied home, the average price is about €130 for 5 days per week. If it's for a room only, that really does vary. And if it's a house or apartment that you want to rent out on its own, that's in or around $450 to $500 per person, excluding utilities. Okay, so that's really what we're seeing. I suppose I did another check on that yesterday, and yeah, I suppose the least expensive I've seen is $100 per week. And that's quite exceptional. I think 130 is a good ballpark for the average price per week. And the most expensive I've seen then is about 150. So just to bear those prices in mind. And those you can look at those details anyway when you go into Maynooth Student Pad in September and start your search. So in the meanwhile, you are very, very welcome to access maynoothuniversity.ie, the Homefinder website. And that will give you all the hints and tips and information support on how to get the best search from your accommodation. So you're absolutely welcome to go and access that in the meanwhile before you have access to Maynooth Student Pad. Useful websites, I've indicated what those are there, but you can also go on to Threshold or the IPOA.ie or the RTB if you want to have an idea in advance of what your rights are or not, as the case may be when you're renting accommodation. So really, that's all I wanted to share with you today. Again, if you have any questions, just pop them into the Q&A, and very happy to take any queries that you have from me, or if you want to email myself in the Homefinder service in the meanwhile, you can email me at homefinder.service@mu.ie. So thank you very much. And I'm going to hand you over to Katja. Sorry, Katja, over to you.
So good morning. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Shawnee. Now that you have seen the on-campus accommodation and the off-campus full-time accommodation, my name is Katja Nolan. I'm the Sales and Marketing Manager for Maynooth Campus Conference and Accommodation. So we actually have short stay and occasional accommodation on the campus. A short summary would be that who we are, what we are, why, most importantly, our rates, how to book with us, peace of mind for you and for your families, especially at this time, our accommodation options, and also our social media handles. So who we are the university's conference and accommodation office. We help organise all the events and conferences all year round. We have 72 bedrooms available for students for short stay, nightly accommodation, and there is the option also to offer breakfast. We're located on the South Campus. It's under the archway opposite Callan Hall. Our opening times are very generous. We open typically, at the moment it is slightly restricted, but normally it's from 7:30 to 11 o'clock. Our students might need us because they may need to take a break from commuting. They may be here for a certain club or society, and that they just don't want to actually stay on the campus or off the campus on a more permanent basis. So as I mentioned, we're the University Conference Office. We help with student overnight stays, and also many students, please God, this year will have a different experience. Last year we'll be able to join clubs and SOCs and have inter-varsity groups and events. So they may need to stay overnight or wish to because they may have college the following morning. For group stays, perhaps your family may come up with you in September to settle you in. They want to be close to you, but not so close that they're staying with you. So they will be able to stay on the campus here in a choice of accommodation options. And also for exams. During the months of January and May and August, we would have accommodation available. So a lot of our students would like to prepare in advance. So they may stay a few nights before their exam and the night prior to the exam, maybe to maximize the hours in the library and the study time. We offer our students a choice. We have 48 college bedrooms. Now these aren't en suite. They're private, single or twin. You can see a twin room just there. It has a wash hand basin within the room and then private cubicle shower and toilet facilities down the corridor. There's tea and coffee facilities within each bedroom and a study desk and chair. Then we also have 24 ensuite bedrooms. So these are single or twin as well. They have tea and coffee within the room, study desk and chair, and a television. So we have a choice to suit most budgets for a student. We also are able to offer a continental breakfast. As you can see, the selection there is the very good choice. It's served between 8 and 11 in Fusion Hall. You can see as well that the options that are there, it would be we actually would give the names prior to the evening before. So when a guest checks in, we normally ask them if they would like to avail of the breakfast, and then we're able to give the name and the room number to the catering department, which means that they're able and ready to welcome you the following morning. Where is our office located? When you're here on the campus for orientation, you'll see that there is a North Campus and a South Campus. Our office is on the South Campus and actually very easy to find. When you come in the main gate, the oldest building in front of you is called Stoit House. This actually dates back to 1795. And on either side, you'll see there's two archways and we're inside the archway on the left. As I mentioned, we're open from 7:30 to 11 most days. Why would you need us? As I said before, you could reduce your commute, studying late in the library, have a club or society meeting, just maximize your time on the campus as a student. Maybe perhaps you need to get an assignment done and you want to have it completed in peace. Perhaps it's quite noisy at home or you just want to maximize the time in the library. During exam times, as I mentioned, for January, May and August. For January and May, we would have 72 bedrooms available, while during the summer months in August, then for repeat exams, we would have 1,300 beds available. Also just catching up with friends and enjoying obviously student life in Maynooth. I'm going to show you a small short video here. It's where our reception is located, and it gives you a taste of what it's like staying with us and in our nightly overnight accommodation. So there you can see just a short video of our accommodation options and where we're located. We have very favourable rates. Our students can avail of with a valid student card a nightly rate of €36 on a single occupancy basis in our college bedrooms. It's VAT exempt because the students are here on university business. And we also offer additional discounts for consecutive night stays. So for 2, 3, 7 nights, it all depends. We're here to help you and to ensure that we're open for your business on a nightly stay. We offer exam offers as well. They're normally advertised on our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. And also our availability. You could see then if we have, if we're full or if we have any special offers throughout the year, they'll be also advertised there. For our students to make life a bit easier, we have a regular short stay booking form. And this is for your convenience, and it means that you can reserve accommodation in advance on a weekly basis. And all you need to do is secure it with a credit card at the time of the booking, but no payment is taken until you arrive on check-in. It means that if you needed to just stay on the campus, you're only 2 days a week on the campus, and you wanted to stay the night in between, it's no problem. You could book every Wednesday night or whatever night you might require, and that'll be there for you. So we'll have the bookings in place, and then you can actually cancel up to 11 o'clock the previous night. So if you were to check in today, our check-in time is at 2 o'clock. It means that you would have had to have cancelled up to 11 o'clock the previous night. So last night you would have cancelled, and there'll be no charge taken at all. Obviously safety is paramount on the campus. Our South Campus accommodation, the gates close at 1 a.m. There's no access after 1 a.m. just so that everyone it's conducive to study and to sleep. So after 1 a.m. around that time, we close our main gates, and it's just footfall coming through. We meet the HSA and Fáilte Ireland accommodation guidelines. As you can see, we would have the COVID safety charter, and this gives students information and advice for booking, checking in, payment, access to bedrooms and the shared facilities. We also are fortunate to have the Fáilte Ireland COVID safety charter as well, which is a government endorsed initiative to reassure employers, employees and most importantly our guests that we're ready to open and have confidence in staying with us. We also have been fortunate to have been awarded the Fáilte Ireland Welcome Standard Award. This is a quality assurance award to ensure our guests receive a friendly, hospitable and efficient welcome and have a pleasant stay throughout their stay with us. We also have been awarded and retained the Fáilte Ireland Service Excellence Award, and this is a striving best-in-class service for all our guests. What are the benefits of staying with us? Well, it's fully serviced standard and ensuite bedrooms. So we supply bed linen, we supply the towels, we have a single or shared occupancy. So we only have a certain number of single bedrooms, but you can actually book single or shared accommodation if you're staying with a friend, or you actually then we would have our shared bedrooms on a single basis as well. We have a contactless booking procedure. Everything is done, as you know, online, and even our registration cards are sent online that have to be signed and then are sent back to us prior to arrival. We have a smartphone room access, which is an app called Just In, and our guests download this, which allows them access to their bedroom for a certain time and duration. We also do have key cards as well, should guests not wish to download this app. We have enhanced cleaning and safety measures in place because of COVID. And we also, as I mentioned before, have the frequent short stay option form. And our cancellation policy, I think, is quite generous, and especially with the frequent short stay option form as well. So how do you book with us? Phone and speak to our reception. You can see the number there. Email our front desk. Our reception is open from 7:30 to 11. Otherwise, we will get back to you as soon as possible. We have social media as well, so you can contact us via that as well. Or click on our website at www.Maynooth Campus and view the bedrooms. And if you have any questions, then just phone or email us or contact us on the contact page. So please stay connected with us. We hope to welcome you to Maynooth in September, but stay connected with us on Facebook, on Instagram and on Twitter. And we hope that whatever accommodation option you choose, that it is suitable and that you'll be very happy as a student here on the campus in September.
Thanks Thanks very much, Katja and Shawnee and Maria, for those presentations. We have a poll up there at the moment, just in relation to your commute to campus. While you're having a look at that poll, I'm just going to take some of the questions that have come in. There's been a question there just in relation to when first years are expected to start in Maynooth University. So if you're coming in through the CAO process, the first round of offers are going out on the 7th of September. And the second round of CAO offers are going out on the 20th of September. And your lectures would commence on the 27th of September. It is a week, our continuing students will have commenced the week prior. So CAO applicants are expected to commence on the 27th of September. Some of the other questions that we've had in, I'm just going to look at them. So there's, for international students wishing to book on campus accommodation for residents, they'd often ask what a PPS number is. So this is an Irish identification number that's issued by the government. And Maria, am I correct in saying that the students who are booking from an international country that don't have a PPS number are given a number by the website?
Absolutely. On the application form, there is a prompt for a genetic PPS number. And once we see your country of origin, we won't go looking for you to adjust that. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. And just a note in terms of the Homefinder, when you get your automatic invitation to access our database, that goes to the email address that is provided at your CAO application form. So it's really important to make sure that you're monitoring that email address. So whatever email address you register on your CAO form is the one that the Homefinder invitation will go out to. We've had a question there just in relation to the time when we can apply for campus accommodation, and Maria has confirmed that that online booking will take place on the 8th of September. So it's an important date to note. You can't book in advance of that. Everybody gets the same access at the same time. So the 8th of September. All of these dates will be available on the websites.
Yeah, they're already up there actually, yeah, for us.
Great. Maria, there's a question there just in relation to the price of accommodation per month for a whole year. So you might
flag
talk about that.
To answer live. So I'm not sure whether they mean campus or the general the off-campus accommodation, but I'll answer from an on-campus perspective. As we stand today, we don't do monthly payments. We do 2 payments depending on the room type, which are on our website. If and when the legislation comes in, we will have to work out what our monthly payments are, and they will be published on our website. But as we stand today, we don't have a monthly rate.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Maria.
If from an off-campus, from an off-campus perspective, then if you look at the average prices, you can budget between 4,000 and 5,000 for 9 months. That is for September through to the end of May. That's a good ballpark for those of you who are thinking about budgets.
Thanks,
for off-campus accommodation.
Yeah. Excuse me. I know there's obviously questions in relation to what next year will look like, where it's looking hopeful that we will have significant on-campus activity, but it will all be dependent on the public health guidance at the time. But it is looking promising so far, I suppose, with the vaccination rollout, that we will have a return to campus. There was a question just in relation to laundry on campus. So there are laundry facilities in Res, and Maria has kindly answered there. If you want to mention that, Maria.
Yeah, so it's the laundry facilities are open 24/7, so the students have access on their student cards to those. So they're not, the time they can do that is not restricted in any way. It's €2 for a wash, but they're industrial size loads, and €2 for a dry. And we also sell discount packs in the reception if they want to buy 20 discount codes together, so they can do that on their residence portal and just collect them in reception.
Great. Thank you very much. I think that's a lot of the questions that have come in. There's often questions in terms of Homefinder, how far we would, it's a frequently asked question when we've an open day on campus in person, how far are the furthest areas in Maynooth from the university campus? Sean, if you wanted to touch on that.
Within the town?
Within the town, yeah.
Yeah, within the town. I think I said at the offset of the presentation that it's a small town. The furthest you'll ever be within walking distance is about 20 minutes within Maynooth. But something I didn't say in the presentation, and maybe it's the time to mention, is that there's a very good stock of accommodation in surrounding towns. So I'm talking about the towns of Leixlip, Selbridge, Lucan, Kilcock. They would be the towns that are very, very, very good stock of accommodation, and more importantly as well, then good public transport. So whereas don't dismiss, I suppose, those other towns as well, because there's some lovely accommodation that can be slightly cheaper as well, just slightly cheaper. I'll just give an example of Lucan. A lot of people who choose to go to Lucan, there's a great bus line going through Lucan, but there's also a great bus line from Lucan into Dublin City. Now we have a great train line from Maynooth into Dublin City as well. But just to tell you, Lucan, for example, is quite popular. Leixlip, Selbridge and Kilcock then on the other side. So really, again, I mean, what are you on the bus? You're 10, 20 minutes on the bus, you know, from those towns to the campus. So and very good public transport links.
Great, thanks very much, Shawnee. It's very accessible, and I think living off campus doesn't ever prohibit a student from participating in the full range of activities that take part in the evening. We have a question come in just in relation to where first years live in the on-campus residence. Maria, if you're happy to take
and actually it's something I probably should have mentioned in the presentation. I did say first years live in would be living in River and Village only. Just to note, 50% of our accommodation goes to first year students. We only have 1,100 places on campus, so over 50% of them, about 600, go to first year. So it's just to put it into perspective in terms of the number of incoming first years we'll have, probably 3,000 to 4,000, right? I don't have the exact numbers, and only 600 of those can live on campus. So it's just to be mindful of that. The reason that the first years are only in River and Village is because we do a community makeup at the start of each year, and we decide what cohorts are going to go where. So continuing students, we have quiet zones and stuff like that. So they are in courtyard because those blocks are separate. So unfortunately, first years are only in River and Village because of the way we have the community makeup done for 21-22. It changes every year, but 21-22, that is the community makeup.
Great. And it doesn't prohibit them from, if they have a friend living in courtyard,
if they're a first year student, they won't unless they're a continuing student, they won't have all first years will be in River and Village, so there won't be any first years in Rye Hall or courtyard. But I mean, it's all in the exact same area. It's not in any way going to, you know, there's no stoppages from them entering courtyard area. It's all one large community. It literally spans across the very edge of the north campus of the accommodation, starts with courtyard, goes into River and goes into Village, and they're all about a half a mile long, concurrent to each other, and they all link to each other. So it's just about the community makeup for us in terms of what who goes into what buildings.
Great, thank you.
I think it's, if I may just say as well, Marianne, you know, I think it's important to state again, you know, how central the university is within the town of Maynooth. I think that's so unique compared to maybe the other bigger universities. Just that, like it's really integrated. So if you're living in the town off campus, you are in the majority of students. Remember, the majority of students live off campus in the town and surrounding towns. So maybe compared to maybe a bigger city, you know, that you might feel a bit lost. That's not the feeling in Maynooth. I think that's really a lovely thing about coming to Maynooth University, that even if you're off campus, you're very much part of the town, the university. There's a vibrancy around it. Like nearly everyone living in the town of Maynooth University is somehow linked in, you know, to the university, and you student coming will feel very comfortable. And as I said, 5-minute walk to the campus, or max 20-minute walk really if you're in the town. Or it's just to mention that. Yeah, it is. It's one of our unique features, and even in terms of residents, a lot of students get quite worried in first year if they don't get on-campus accommodation, and we really try and reassure people not to worry. And if you do get on-campus residents, you're in the minority. It's a minority that live there, but we have a large commuting population as well. But Maynooth does have excellent accommodation and transport links, and there is something for everybody. And many students who live in the off-campus residence often go on to stay there for the duration of their studies. So it's certainly easier to find accommodation
options in Maynooth and the surrounding towns than it may be in the city universities. Okay, so I'm just going to look how we are with questions. I think that's kind of covered a lot of the Q&A questions. Sorry, we have another one in. So the Homefinder, when will Homefinder applications be sent? So the date, Sean, if you can clarify, is...
Yeah, sure. It's an automatic process. So you will receive your CAO offer to attend Maynooth University on September 7th, as you know.
Yep.
Then you will automatically receive an email within 24 hours. So September 8th, you will automatically receive an email giving you instructions and a password as to how to access Maynooth Student Pad and to access that database. Okay,
and
so
it's important to check that email address is the one for the CEO form.
Yeah, exactly.
And it can sometimes, I believe, go into the junk mail.
I've heard it has once or twice.
On occasion. It doesn't.
On occasion.
Yeah. I suppose it depends.
But it's not, you know, with what Maria was saying there, first come, first serve, we normally have a really good stock. So I hope, students or potential students won't feel that pressure, that there's a lot of stock of accommodation available. So for sure, it's good to start. And of course, you're at your own discretion if you want to start your accommodation search before that date. But with regards to the access to Maynooth University Student Pad for students, Maynooth students only, that'll be from September 8th. You will automatically receive that email to your same address as your CAO with a special password to get in there to start your search.
We keep the ads, they only go live on September the 8th.
That's
right. Other students don't have access to them.
That's right.
Before that. So everybody gets access at the same time, and we hold the ads until the 8th and they'll go live that date.
That's right. Continuing students have had the opportunity now to find accommodation since April and international students then in July. And then we just keep it especially for first years, incoming first years. Yeah.
Thanks, Shawnee.
From mid-August.
Sorry, there's some questions there just in terms of public transport and bus routes. There's excellent bus connections in and out of Maynooth. There is a transport guide available. I would have to double check where that is. Deirdre, you might know where our transport guide is available. Is it on the admissions office?
It's on the website. If you go to the admissions office pages, so mu.ie/level 8, and on the side there's an option there in the tabs on the left hand side corner, and you can download prospectus and mature guide, all the publications.
Brilliant. So there's a really good comprehensive transport guide, and Dublin bus comes the bus route comes right into Maynooth town. There's an excellent train service. We're on the Sligo line and the Dublin line, so that the Dublin line connects to the Lewis. So if there's people commuting from the south side of the city, it connects in the city centre and then outwards to Maynooth. So there are really excellent transport links, and we have a lot of private bus companies who travel to the campus daily from the Midlands and different places. So they're all in the transport guide. So do have a look at that. Just a question in relation to deferred students. If they receive their offers on August the 5th, do they have access to Homefinder early? So all incoming CEO, I believe it's the same date, Shirley.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay. Yeah, September.
And it's the same for campus. Yeah. So if you deferred your offer from last year, you will get your access to the accommodation options at the same time as all incoming first years. So you're in that cohort of students. So that's just to confirm that. Okay, I think that's all the questions for the moment. Do we have any other polls, Deirdre, or are we finished with our polls?
Our polls have gone out, so I can just share the results, I guess. So yeah, we've 88% of our viewers today that want to live on campus, and then a lot are interested in the living in 5 days per week hostel or family style accommodation, and then the blended accommodation a few days per week with the commute. And then in terms of the commute, less than 400 kilometres, 13% of viewers between 200 kilometres and 400 kilometres, is 13%, and between 50 kilometers and 200 kilometers is 45%, and then more than 50 kilometers or 500 kilometers was 29%. So I guess if anyone else, I know there was a few hands raised at different points, but if anyone wants to come in with any last questions, we can hang on for the last few minutes, and feel free to put questions into the Q&A, and we can hang on here for that.
Thank you, Deirdre.
No worries. Then just like I said, in terms of the talks, there'll be an opportunity to ask questions again then from 1 to 2 later on, and there's a few more webinars on throughout the day, just to keep an eye on that.
There's a lot of information available, and it's all the Q&As will be live later on in the afternoon with staff, and Shawnee will be available also if there's further questions. Res.
Yeah, absolutely. Shirley will be on, my colleague will be on later on between 1 and 2 as well, if there's any on-campus accommodation questions later on.
Right.
I think it just prompted me maybe just to add when I heard the poll result there that if you are considering coming up to stay 1 or 2 nights a week, of course, Katja gave you the options there for on campus. Off campus, it's quite new, as I briefly mentioned, but there are some landlords and landladies that would be willing to accommodate students for 1 or 2 nights a week. And we're seeing the average price per night at about €30 per night. But again, that's negotiable, because if you were to do that maybe on a regular basis, maybe you come to an arrangement with that landlord or landlady, just to mention that.
Great, thank you, Shawnee. We have a question just in relation to vaccinated or unvaccinated students and accommodation options, and I suppose the vaccination programme, there's no requirement at the moment for people to be vaccinated to attend campus, and for that reason it's unlikely that we will be monitoring closely who is vaccinated in accommodation. If you're looking at off-campus accommodation options, it would be something for you to discuss with the owner or the other resident of property. If you're moving into a house share, it would be something to discuss with the other students. So it's, I don't believe, Maria, is there any plans to?
Absolutely not. So what we will do is we'll 100% follow government guidelines. So we'll know closer to the time. Certainly last year for international students, there was restricted movement and stuff like that. And absolutely they were housed separately until that period was passed. And then they were moved into their academic accommodation, for want of a better term. In terms of Irish CEO students coming, no, it's not, unless the government specifically advised that we have to ensure everyone's vaccinated. We won't be even inquiring. It's not data we need or will take, you know.
Okay, great. Thank you.
We're also the same as well. We'll follow the university and the guidelines that we have.
And there has been, I suppose, queries. We have received queries in relation to vaccinations, but we're just advising people that they make that decision for themselves. And, you know, we will follow the public health guidance as we progress through the year. So far, it seems to be a successful vaccination program. So we're hopeful that it will assist us in returning to campus. It's been a difficult almost 2 years, I suppose, for people in terms of their learning and knowing what the year in university is going to be like, or if you deferred your offer last year. But I think it is also, there's certainly an energy we can feel on the campuses. There's more hope that we will get back to a sense of normal on campus activity, and we're very excited to have students back on campus. That said, we've been very successful with the remote learning as well. It has worked really well and students have adapted very quickly to it. So I would try and assure people not to worry too much about what next year is going to look like. University will work to their very best effort to get students back on campus, but it's looking hopeful, but who knows? So far, we're on track, I think, with the vaccination program. So I think that's all of the questions that have come in. If anybody does have any other questions or queries, all of our contact details are on each of our websites. There's a search function on the Maynooth University website, so you will find, if you look up accommodation and that, you'll find all the options easy enough. Student services and student residents have Ask live chats available during the week. Catches service, you can send an email into them directly, or your phones are currently monitored as well, Katja, am I right?
Absolutely,
Yeah. And the admissions office, if you do have any questions in relation to admissions or anything like that, there's a team there who will answer any of your questions over the next couple of weeks or months. The university certainly doesn't close for the summer. We're very much here and willing to help. And just to say a thank you to everybody in the panel this morning, to Maria, Katja, Shawnee and Deirdre. Thank you for your presentations and answering all those questions. There's always lots of information to cover. Our preference obviously would be to do this in person. It's turning into a nice sunny day here in Maynooth, so we wish we were on campus. Maybe next year we'll be doing this in person. But I think, Deirdre, if you're happy, will we finish up there? And if there's any other questions, people might send them in by email or in the chat later.
Yeah, perfect. And then we just have the web chat will be going as well. There's channels there for any questions later on. So yeah, thanks.
That's from 1 to 2, is it?
Yeah, and then there's also
Great.
there's an admissions channel open now from 9.
Brilliant.
Opened up at 9 AM as well, and that's on the mu.ie/open days page as well.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
So much.
So thank you all very much. Best of luck with your CEO offers, and we hope to see you and welcome you on campus in Maynooth University in September. Thank you all.
Bye, everybody.